Hello everybody, it is me, Everbrizzacatuzzi, and today we are here talking about how many kilograms are the dumbbells you lift, episode 2! Wow, so we got another demonstration of another gym equipment. We saw the pull downs, and to be honest, I actually really like the pull down machine. That's one of the machines I actually like to use a lot, but I think that like the one that I use looks like completely different from that one. Like it's a lot taller too. Like you literally need to stand up and then grab it, and then you need to sit down because it's really high up. Like you need to literally inch up, and then you need to grab it and pull it down. You'd need to be because I'm like close to 6 feet, but not I'm like 1 or 2 inches below that. You literally need to be like 6 feet or taller to literally grab that thing and pull it down to get all the way down to your chest. So seeing it used in this anime, I can actually really relate to the character right now because I've used that machine. Like last episode, I like barely even used the one where you're like laying down and then you have to pull it up and then pull down your chest. I like barely use that one, but I've used the pull down machine like loads. It was also really funny seeing Machio this episode, like still being super funny with him, like ripping his shirt muscles open and being his gigantic self. Like, man, he literally just only did his arm muscle, and then the rest of him was normal, and then he just ripped up the rest doing all those side muscles for some reason. One thing that I noticed, especially in the last episode and this episode, and also in the opening song that I forgot to talk about in my last review, is that it's really cool seeing them animate their breath coming out of their mouth. Like they don't even need to do that, but it's like an added effect to show them that there's something happening when they're working out. And it seems like a pretty cool detail that I forgot to mention before that I'm really like noticing and think is really cool. But one thing that we saw last episode that we saw this episode that I'm just like, wow, is that we saw the characters naked again, and I'm just like, dude. I get that this is a gym anime, and I get that this is cute girls plus gyms. But last episode we saw Hibiki doing her weight after she got shocked in at the start of this episode. Last episode, in the first episode, we saw her just like mist and everything. In this episode, we see her again having a shower. Like seriously, last episode she's weighing herself naked. This episode she's naked having a shower, and then we also even see a Kemi naked in the shower. And I'm just like, dude, you literally need to show us this in the second episode. What in the third episode are we gonna see uh Hibiki's friend Ayaka doing something like that? And then we saw them having what was really funny is that apparently somewhere in this gym there's a protein bar, and at first it seemed like a bar, but instead it's just a bar where instead of you getting served alcohol, you get served protein shakes. And I'm just like, dude, like what? And then apparently the Machio is apparently inside of his in his humongous form, and then he has like a little tie on his neck, and I'm just like, dude, it's funny seeing him have a normal face with that body, but it's even funnier seeing him have a normal face with that body and seeing him have like a little tie on his neck. It's just completely hilarious. And then seeing him like give them like a drink, and then you would think that Hibiki would be very what is it? You'd think that she'd be very disgusted by the drink, but apparently Machio makes it so it tastes good. So then she drinks it, and she's just like, "Man, this tastes delicious." And then another thing in this episode is that we saw how apparently they had the whole dilemma still about with Hibiki being like still eating a lot, and then she is weighing herself at the start of the episode, and then she notices that she's still like the same weight or a little bit like two or three higher than she was last episode, and then she ends up asking Akemi and Machio, and then they say that it's just her building muscle, and I guess that does make sense. I guess when you do build muscle, you'd still get heavy. And then they even did the comparison between like a fat person and a very muscular healthy person can still be the exact same weight because there's lots of body types in this world. And after that, before the mid credit scene in this episode, we saw how they still said, oh, that it is because of the muscle, but she also is still eating a lot because she ate like a huge steak this episode. And then we saw Akemi's reaction of her just being like, dude, that is a huge steak. I can't eat that. I guess that doesn't make sense because she is she's skinny, but I would think that Hibiki's friend Ayaka is even skinnier than Akemi. Like, dude, but that's my thoughts for the first, what was it, 9 minutes of this episode. And yeah, I'll be back in a few seconds to review the middle half of this episode. Okay, I am back after watching the middle half of this episode between 9 minutes and 16 minutes. So, during the conversation between Hibiki and Akemi, Hibiki mentioned that she has work, and I'm just like, work? She's talking about school, or does she mention having to have a job? Because in the last episode, she told her friend Ayaka that she didn't have a job. She said that she didn't even feel like getting a job because she thought that it was useless. But in this episode, she said that she is working. Like, what the hell? What the hell is this type of mishmash of time of us knowing what's going on? So then after that, Hibiki and Akemi end up going to the swimming pool because Akemi mentioned that because Hibiki said that she isn't able to move anymore because she worked out too hard earlier in the episode, in the first half of this episode. So then they go there, and then she ends up stretching, and then Akemi stops her saying that she shouldn't stretch before working out. And then when that happened, I was like, wait, I thought that you were supposed to do that, but then I remembered as soon as when she mentioned how it works, I was like, wait, when I went to the gym, that is usually what happened. Like I would go to the gym and then I would work out, and then after working out, like if I went with someone, they would tell me after the workout to stretch, and I'm just like, oh my god, I'm having a flashback. This is all making more sense to me. And then she mentioned Kemi started mentioning dynamic stretching. They started doing like stretch different types of stretching before they started going swimming. They totally skipped them swimming. They just did these stretching to do like a learning lesson. I really like it how there's learning lessons in these episodes. It's really informative, even if there's some stuff that I can sort of like have flashbacks to in my memory brain. And then we see them doing the dynamic thing, and I'm just like watching this. At first, I was like wondering what it was, but then as soon as I saw it, I was like, wait, back when I was in high school, I did these dynamic stretches before working out when it was in gym class. I was like, this all makes more sense to me. They even did like the arm things and like touching your feet. I was like, this all makes sense to me. It all makes sense. But then as they're stretching out, Hibiki ends up breaking her thing, because before when they first got there, when she was in her swimsuit, she was just like, oh yeah, this is really tight on me. And as they finished stretching, Hibiki did a funny face again as she ripped as she ripped like her butt piece, and she had to walk away. And then it was funny seeing Akemi's reaction too, even though that it isn't as funny as the faces that Hibiki makes. It'd be super funny if there was a part where Akemi makes a face like that soon, even though that she seems like someone that isn't gonna have a face like that anytime soon. Uh, and then after that, towards the 16-minute mark, they showed like Hibiki and Ayaka watching a movie. And when I first saw that movie, when I first saw the guy, I was like, okay, that guy looks familiar. I can get what this is. But then they said his name, Barnold Schwarzenegger or Schwarzen something, Schwarzenegger. Barnold Schwarzenegger, and I'm just like, dude, what the hell? And apparently, it's like an off-brand like thing in this anime world where they're watching this movie, and apparently he fights off against a gorilla army, but it also seemed like he was also fighting against humans. Like what? And they were like, and they showed him like shooting guns, and had like bazooka launcher, and I was like, dude, I don't think I've watched a movie with him like that, like at all. Yeah, other than that, those are my thoughts for this amount of time. So yeah, I'll be back in a few minutes to review the last bits of this episode. Okay, so I just watched the last bits of the ending of this episode. All I gotta say is just like, what? What the hell was that scene with Hibiki at the boxing place? Like, literally, that's literally a scene out of like Hajime no Ippo right there. She literally just out of nowhere like goes to like the boxing place, and then she has like the what was it, like the punching bag, and then she just punches it right off the chain, and just smashes it right onto the floor, and then everyone is just shocked and is just like, wow, you need to go to championship right now. I was like, wow, that's just insane. Another thing that we saw is how the boxing gym, that place that she's at right now, is apparently her friend Ayaka's, and I'm just like, dude, like how is your like how it's like it's just like, and then you saw Hibiki just end up seeing pretty much yelling at her friend, being like, wow, she's a part of this whole entire like muscle thing too. It isn't just my new friend Akemi, but you too. And then she ends up like seeing how seeing what Ayaka's abs are like, and we saw that in the ending song last week when we watched the ending song. We're seeing this episode, it's like, wow, those are some really nice abs. And then she ends up like saying this technique called was it flagpoles? And when I saw that, I was like, I haven't seen a exercise like that before. She's like laying down, holding onto a pole, and reaching up her legs. Like, I don't think I've seen anything like that before. I don't think I've ever seen people do that. I should try that out sometime. And then she also showed off the plank to Hibiki, because Hibiki didn't want to do the flagpoles since she did a plank. Because then Hibiki can only do 30 seconds apparently, or maybe she could go longer based on like the way that we saw her this episode. But I think my record for a plank was 3 minutes. I could only do like 3 minutes, or like 3 minutes to 5 seconds. We also saw Ayaka's sister. She had like an older sister this episode, and she's like the coach, along with the coach of the gym when their father's away. And then she just says, yeah, like Hibiki asks about the gym, and then she's just like, is there any strong people here? And she's like, yeah, we've won a few championships with people here. And Hibiki's just like, what? Like, that's not like an understatement. You have really strong people here. And then when I saw that, I was like, wow, those are a lot of trophies that we saw this episode. Those are a lot of people that work really hard right there. Another thing that was really weird was seeing how at the end of the episode, when they showed the plank demonstration again, because for some reason they do this, they showed the demonstration also last week at the end of the outro song, is that there was a random turtle just like frolicking around. When I saw it, I was like, why is there a turtle there? They're just showing random shots of a turtle walking out of his crib during the demonstration, looking at like the screen, and then going right back into his crib, and then just that's it. I was like, dude, what is this turtle doing? Other than that, I think this episode was pretty good. This seems pretty basic. Just us just watching her struggling through things, and then seeing what's happening with these exercises and stuff like that. But it's pretty enjoyable to watch. Uh, I may or may not do a review in episode 3 based on the events that are happening within it. But other than that, if you enjoyed my opinions on my thoughts on this episode, leave a like. If you didn't enjoy this whatsoever, leave a dislike. And yeah, like I says, I'll see you guys in my next video of this or whatever else I do. And yeah, bye. See you later.